You know, it's funny. This Raw felt more like the Raw after WrestleMania than last week's show, which was actually the Raw after WrestleMania. Cody had his first match on Raw in over 6 years against The Miz, and while Cody Rhodes looked great, as he usually does, I think his entrance was just a little bit too much for me, and I'll go over that, and I'll go over what I mean by that in just a little bit. Like I said, he went up against The Miz tonight, who's probably one of the most boring superstars I have ever seen in the WWE. But thank God it was a one-off match, because other than that, I don't know what I would have done if Miz was Cody Rhodes' first feud back in WWE. Other than that, we had the same old illogical bullshit and booking that we usually have each and every single week on Monday Night Raw. Two matches were completely scrapped from the show tonight and replaced with something else. In an incredible match and main event between the Street Profits and the Usos to determine who will face pretty much RK Bro at WrestleMania Backlash. And even though it was predictable as all hell, we knew the Street Profits were going to lose this match. It was an incredible match nonetheless, and we will get that unification match for the Raw and SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Whether anybody wants it or not, it is going to happen. Guys, we got a lot to talk about here on the Monday Night Raw post show right here on Outside the Brand. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I'll be on the other side of this intro. This is Outside the Brand, episode 165, the Monday Night Raw post show on Outside the Brand. I'll talk to you guys in just a little bit. What is going on, guys? Thank you so much for joining me right here on Outside the Brand. This is your Monday Night Raw post show for April 11th, 2022. I am your host, Phil, and of course, this is Outside the Brand. Thank you so much for joining me right here on your Monday nights, wherever you may be. Monday Night Raw, guys, was completely all over the place tonight. We had Cody in his first match in over 6 years against The Miz, and thank Christ it was a one-off match. Because like I said before in the open, I don't know what I would have done if Cody Rhodes was his first feud back after leaving AEW to join the E once again. It looks like Seth Rollins is going to be his next opponent, rather. And looks like that could be going on at WrestleMania Backlash. Or should I say WrestleMania Part 3, as we're probably just going to continue to get rematches from WrestleMania on that WrestleMania Backlash card. We did not get a unification match tonight for the tag team titles, but we are going to get there one way or another, and that's most likely going to be happening at WrestleMania Backlash. And that's going to be fine. That's going to be great. I think RK Bro and the Usos are going to kill it when they merge the divisions. I've been wanting that since 2016, and now we're finally going to get it. RK Bro versus the Usos for the unified WWE Tag Team Championships. It's going to be great. I wanted it for so long, and now we are finally going to get it. Tommaso Ciampa also debuted tonight in an interview with Ezekiel Elias and Kevin Owens. They continued their feud, Ezekiel and Kevin Owens. So we're probably going to be getting that soon, if not at WrestleMania Backlash. So we had Ciampa debut tonight. I'm glad they didn't change his name. But a person that we did have a name change for is Austin Theory. He is not known as Austin Theory any longer. He is now just known as Theory. I got a theory that this show completely stinks of boredom, and it's absolutely ridiculous that we have to have these name changes for no reason whatsoever. The way this company is being run right now is being it's just absolutely ridiculous. I'm sorry. Sonya Deville is now the new #1 contender for the Raw Women's Championship. How? Because Bianca Belair signed an open contract for WrestleMania Backlash. Sonya Deville is now going to be facing her for the championship at Backlash. And yeah, I mean, Sonya Deville has done absolutely nothing to get a championship opportunity, but because it's an open contract and Bianca Belair was a stupid babyface and she just said, yeah, I'll just sign anything before looking it over, she's now facing Sonya Deville at WrestleMania Backlash for the Raw Women's Championship. Let's not forget about Damian Priest. Damian Priest faced AJ Styles tonight, and he looked like a goddamn fool. Damian Priest sends us to commercial break with the lights dimming down as he was looking like a goddamn, I don't know. I was talking to some people on social media. Everybody was saying it was like a vampire. And I can totally see that. Damian Priest was looking like a goddamn vampire tonight as we fade to black during a commercial break. And then when we came back, the match just did not continue. The match just was not continuing. And AJ Styles was pissed off. So if this is the way that we are starting this new Edge stable, I'm not liking it, guys. I'm really not. You're having Damian Priest look like a goddamn vampire from what everybody is saying on social media. And from last week on Monday Night Raw, not a lot of people were excited about it. I mean, everybody was pretty much booing that stable. So I'm not sure this is getting off to the right foot. We need to have Tommaso Ciampa and we need to have Rhea Ripley in this stable, hopefully, so that we can get this off the ground. Otherwise, it's just not going to be working out. I want it to work out, trust me, but with it not working out in the way that it's already not doing well, I don't know, man. This is just not working out. But as always, we have a ton to go over here on the Monday Night Raw post show for tonight on the podcast. As always, I want to thank you guys so much for joining me right here on Outside the Brand. Follow me on social media. All the TikTok links for everybody that is involved in this podcast is down in the description below, but you guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at PhillyMatt_. Make sure to hit me up on Twitter. You guys can tweet with me during the live show. I tweet every single time Raw, SmackDown, and AEW Dynamite are on the air. I do live tweets each and every time. So if you guys want to join in on the conversation, like my girl Tanya, who I know very well, she joins me in the conversations each and every single time, and it's an absolute blast talking with her on social media. You guys can do that with me as well if you follow me on Twitter at PhillyMatt_. Hit that subscribe button down below as we are on the road to 400 subscribers. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button as well. Let's get this 10 likes minimum because it helps the video out tremendously. Follow us on TikTok, like I said earlier. All of them are down in the description below. We do some great stuff over there on TikTok. You guys can go get your t-shirts at bonfire.com, the exclusive home outside the brand and its merchandise. You guys can go get your t-shirts, hoodies, and more on bonfire.com. Like I said, the exclusive home of outside the brand. You guys can rep OTB wherever you may go. It's absolutely fun to rep this podcast, and I cannot wait to be repping the OTB merch myself when that does eventually come in. We love you guys. Thank you so much for all of your support. Now let's get right in to the Monday Night Raw post show on Outside the Brand. All right, guys. Let's get right into it, guys. I'm going to get right into it here. Okay. Let's refresh these notes and get right in to the show. My hair is going crazy. We start off Monday Night Raw with Miz TV. Miz TV is here. And Jerry Lawler is on commentary tonight in replace of Corey Graves, who just got married to Carmella. So happy marriage to the both of you. You guys have a lot of fun. Jerry Lawler will gladly take your spot for commentary for the next couple of weeks, maybe, as they are obviously celebrating their marriage. So good for Carmella and Corey Graves. The Miz comes to the ring for a new episode of Miz TV. He says that his guest tonight is an extraordinary man who has been the talk of the town since his return at WrestleMania, and he defeated Seth Rollins. But can he beat him tonight? The fans chant yes, and the Miz say their opinions hardly matter when they cheer for the Detroit Lions. you gotta get that cheap heat in there somewhere, and obviously going after the Detroit Lions, who's probably one of, if not the most pathetic franchises in all of the NFL. And Miz just does that so well. Cody comes to the ring, and the fans are going bananas for him. Miz impatiently waits for Cody to sit down in the chair, and fans chant Cody. Miz says, now that we've broke the pyro budget and took 45 minutes to celebrate yourself, can we please start the show? Miz asks if Cody doesn't care about anybody anymore, only about himself. Cody says, don't get hot, and tells Miz to not begrudge him this moment. Miz goes on to speak, but Cody jumps up and poses for the fans as they explode with excitement. Miz says that Cody made an emotional speech last week about why he wanted to return to WWE to make his father, Dusty Rhodes, proud. Miz says that that's admirable. But if it wasn't for Dusty, Cody wouldn't be the grandson of a plumber. He'd be just a plumber. Cody says that that's clever, but being a plumber would be pretty good right now because Miz is full of shit. He caught himself, but he knew what he wanted to say. In AEW, he would have been able to say shit, but in WWE, he couldn't, so he had to catch himself. Cody says that Miz hasn't changed at all. He's obnoxious. He's an obnoxious carny, and he embraces it. But the Miz, that makes Miz reliable. Cody asks Miz if he looks the same. He says that he has been very busy for 6 years, and it's given him crystal clear clarity about what he needs to do. Win the WWE Universal Championship belt. Miz says that it's a title because belts hold up your pants. Miz then says that he's heard that Rollins wants another shot at Cody, and he doesn't like his chances. And he doesn't like his chances against him tonight either. At WrestleMania, everyone was talking about Cody rather than the Miz. And while he wasn't the one that surprised everyone, he destroyed Mysterio with Logan Paul. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what happened there. So he embarrassed Logan Paul. Cody has been but this, and Miz says that we all know where Cody has been over the past 6 years, but this is my show, says the Miz, and you're not going to stand, and I'm not going to stand for you showing me up on my show. Cody holds up his hand and tells Miz to settle down. Rhodes then says that he respects The Miz for all his accomplishments. He gets the sense that Miz is being hostile because he feels threatened by him. Cody says he has no issues with Seth Rollins. He gave him a great fight at WrestleMania, and he'd be happy to have a rematch. He's looking forward to facing the best wrestlers in WWE. Miz corrects him and says superstars. And Rose says sure, but he's looking forward to his first match in Raw in over 6 years. What's going on? Cody shoves the microphone at Miz and says that may the best man win. Miz tries to attack Cody, but Cody sends him through the ropes and Miz is livid. And that's how that segment ends. And guys, here's the thing. We had a little subtleties of what Cody Rhodes could be saying in AEW with the little AEW references here and there. Him saying wrestler instead of superstar. Him saying championship belt instead of championships. There were these little subtleties of AEW references and AEW isms in this promo tonight. It was completely harmless, and I see no problem with that. But I saw so many people on social media tonight that were so pissed off at these little AEW isms in the promo tonight. I don't understand why. People need to understand that Cody is going to speak the way that he wants to be spoken for, and he's going to get across what he needs to get across, one way or another. If it's going to have to be doing wrestlers instead of superstars, or if it's going to be doing championship belt instead of championship, it's not going to be that big of a deal. As long as Cody gets what he wants to say out there, it's not that big of a deal. Everybody needs to understand that Cody has a story that he wants to present here. And if these little isms are the way to do it, then let him do what he needs to do. Now, when it comes to his entrance, Cody Rhodes had three pyro segments in his entrance. And I just think it's a little bit too much. You know, that there's a thing between emphasizing that somebody is here versus just completely going overboard. You had Cody do 3 pyros tonight. As soon as he does his entrance, the pyro revealed him. When he opened up his arms and did the whoa in Kingdom, another set of pyro went off. And then you had another thing of pyro when he was standing on one of the top turnbuckles and pyro was going off on the stage. It was completely overboard for me, and I did a video on TikTok. I'm pretty sure you guys saw it. If you guys didn't, go check it out. But I just thought it was a little bit overboard. If you guys could let me know in the comments if you thought it was overboard or not, I would be greatly appreciated. But everybody and their mother was so pissed off at me about it for giving an opinion like that. I just thought it was a little bit overboard, but at the end of the day, you know, Cody's going to be presented in the way that he wants to be presented, so I'm not going to be too pissed off about it, but I just thought it was a little bit too much, that's all. But guys, you let me know what you think about Cody Rhodes and the presentation from tonight in the comments below when it comes to that pyro. I just thought it was a little bit too much, that's all. Hold on 1 second, I'm just answering back some people real quick. There we go. We are good to go now. Okay. Okay. We are back now, and we are going to continue on with the show. We started off with Dominik Mysterio versus Veer. Now, Veer was actually supposed to take on Rey Mysterio tonight, but they changed the they changed the match to Dominik, and this was still a complete squash. It was going to be a complete squash regardless, whether it was his father or Dominik Mysterio. And Veer picked up the win here. And that's pretty much what it was. It was a complete squash here. Dominik sends Veer to the outside and dives over the ropes onto him, but gets caught and slammed into the barricade. Veer then takes Mysterio's heads off with a lariat at ringside. Veer then gets Dominik back inside the ring and clobbers him with another lariat. Veer then gets Dominik's back and applies a submission, a clavicle. They said it was a clavicle choke. Dominik then taps out immediately, but Veer won't let go for a while. After the match, Veer then reapplies the submission a couple more times, and officials run down to pry him off. Veer waits another moment and applies it again for a third straight time. Eventually, medics come down with a stretcher to get Dominik out of there. We come back and we see we come back from commercial rather, and we see Dominik Mysterio being loaded into an ambulance, and then an interview with Veer where he says, quote, "I strike fear into the hearts of men." We see AJ Styles from earlier today as he is going to be facing Damian Priest. Styles says that he is not afraid because if what Priest and Edge might make him do. He says that they are talking about his family and nobody does that. Styles then says that Priest walking past, and Styles then sees Priest walking past him and he decides to attack. They brawl backstage until officials pull them apart. I'm fine with this. And then we had the match. We had AJ Styles take on Damian Priest, and while this was a pretty good match for what it was, the ending quite literally sucked. It sucked the life out of the place. AJ jumps at Priest, but the big man avoids him and claps his ears. Then hits a reverse STO for a near fall. Priest then thought it was it. He picks up AJ, but by the hand and kicks him in the chest a few times. Priest then grabs him, but then gets caught with a Pele kick. Styles then sends him to the apron and knocks Priest back. Then jumps up and but gets kicked in midair. Priest then drops to a knee. The lights go out. The blue spotlight comes on as we head to commercial break. We're back live and the match is just suddenly over. It was just completely over at this point. They say that the power went out, which is not the case. AJ is interviewed backstage and he asks what the hell just happened. Styles says that you think that I know what happened? This is complete BS. He wants Edge and he wants Edge only. And he doesn't care what Edge or anyone else does. He is going to get him one way or another. We then had The Miz versus Cody. And Rollins was at ringside for this. Cody had his entrance again. Again, 3 pyro segments happened during his entrance. Just like the first time. And this was a good match for Cody. This was a good match for Cody to get him back on and get him back into wrestling on Raw in over 6 years. But I'm just saying, thank God it was a one-off, because if this was the way that you were starting Cody Rhodes off on Monday Night Raw, the feud with Miz, that just would have been absolutely terrible in my opinion. But we move on. Cody tries to reach the ropes, but Miz drags him back into the center. He was in a figure 4 leg lock at this time. They start slapping each other, and Rhodes turns it around to reverse the pressure of the figure 4. Miz slowly then gets to the bottom rope to force a break. They're slowly getting to their feet, and Cody is limping, but he hits Miz and lands a Cody cutter, followed by the Crossroads for the win. After the match, Seth then gets into the ring and waits for Cody to get off the corner post. He laughs at him. Rollins says that he heard the kind of thing Cody had said about him, and he wants a rematch. What he wants Cody to remember, though, is that he was a surprise opponent. But now that he sees what he is working with, he wants part 2. Cody says absolutely yes, and Seth dances around him in the ring. This is good. This is good. We're getting Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes part 2 at WrestleMania Backlash. I think it was the best match of the night, in my opinion, on that WrestleMania Night 1. And now we are going to be getting it again at WrestleMania Backlash. This could be good. This could be good. And if Seth Rollins wins this here, it's tied at 1 apiece, and could possibly be getting a third one at the next pay-per-view. And then heading into Money in the Bank, where we can have Cody win Money in the Bank, and then we can get that storyline for him when it comes to the World Championship. This is great. This is great. I think this is the right decision to do it again. But if we're doing this another 2 times for them to ultimately lead to Cody Rhodes getting Money in the Bank, there you go. You got to do it in that way if you're going to get him to a World Championship opportunity. You have him win Money in the Bank. You got to have him have wins to get the Money in the Bank. Doing it against Seth Rollins is not that bad of an idea. So we then have, after this match, here, wait, there we go. Yeah, so then we had, after this match, we see Kevin Owens meeting Ezekiel on last week's Raw. Tommaso Ciampa is supposed to get interviewed backstage. Before he can even speak, Ezekiel interrupts and introduces himself. Kevin Owens then tells Ciampa not to be fooled because this is obviously Elias. He asks him what he's trying to pull, and Ezekiel says that he's not trying to do anything. He is not Elias. Ciampa then says, listen, it may be an easy mistake to make, but that's Elias's younger brother. Owens yells at him and says, is he the only sane person around here? He then looks at Kevin Patrick, does Tommaso, and he's like, I don't know, it's Ezekiel to me. And that's Ezekiel. This shit is completely, it's so stupid. It's funny, and it's so stupid, but this is Monday Night Raw. This is what you get on Monday Night Raw. You get your intelligence insulted by this illogical bullshit. It just happens each and every time. We then had another match canceled tonight. It was supposed to be the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships between Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley taking on Naomi and Sasha Banks. We didn't get that. We got Liv Morgan versus Naomi. Liv Morgan faced Sasha Banks on Friday night. Now she faces Naomi tonight. Liv Morgan did not have Rhea Ripley in her corner, but Sasha Banks was in her corner. So there you go. Naomi slides under a clothesline. Then both women attempt enziguris and miss. Naomi then backs up to the ropes, and Morgan wants Oblivion, but Naomi holds on to the ropes. Liv then knocks her back and goes to the middle rope and jumps for a hurricanrana, but then gets grabbed into a powerbomb for a near fall. They go back and forth with pinfall attempts until Naomi scores the pinfall victory in a roll-up position. So Naomi picks up the win there after Liv Morgan picked up a victory over Sasha Banks on SmackDown just this past Friday. Then we had the almighty Bobby Lashley go into the ring for an MVP lounge segment. So we'll see how that goes. But before we talk about that whole MVP lounge segment, which was completely irrelevant, let's talk about another completely irrelevant thing, and that is the Women's Tag Team Championships. People are telling me left and right, Sasha Banks put Liv Morgan over during that match on Friday, which was completely not the case. Yeah, sure, Liv Morgan picked up the win over Sasha Banks, but Sasha Banks just won the one half of the Women's Tag Team Championship. She just won her first match at WrestleMania. So she put her over on Friday. No. You see, champions should not be losing on TV, regardless whether they have just won the championship or whether they've been champion for as long as Roman Reigns has, let's say. Champions should not be losing, period, on any show, whether that's a pay-per-view, unless you need to get a new champion. But especially on the weekly television shows like Raw or SmackDown or hell, even NXT, champions should not be losing. And you had the champions lose days after they won the championship. It's illogical bullshit, and it makes no sense. Does anybody else not see that? Or am I the only one that does? Because now you had Naomi beat Liv Morgan tonight with Rhea Ripley not even being there. And now they get a Women's Tag Team Championship opportunity when Liv Morgan lost. So we get the championship match next week for the Women's Tag Team titles, but Liv Morgan lost. And the reason why we had to change this match is because Rhea Ripley, from what I heard, was on COVID protocol tonight. So unless Rhea Ripley gets better by next Monday from the COVID protocol, we're not going to have a Women's Tag Team Championship match again next week on Raw. And you might as well just save it for the pay-per-view. You know what? Honestly, don't have the match next week. Save it for the pay-per-view so that if you want to drag out Rhea Ripley joining the faction with Edge and Damian Priest, you have them lose the Tag Team Championship match at the pay-per-view at WrestleMania Backlash. And then you'll have Rhea Ripley join Edge's faction after WrestleMania Backlash. That's better than just doing a random ass tag team title match, which won't mean a single thing. on Monday Night Raw. You do it at the pay-per-view, you have them lose, and then you have Ripley turn on Liv to join Edge's new faction. There you go. But will that happen? No. But is that the best way to probably do it? Yeah. But we'll see. But we will definitely see. Lashley is in the VIP lounge, and he says that he wasn't invited onto the show, but after what MVP and Omos did to him last week, he doesn't care if he's invited or not. He's just going to invite himself. Lashley says that last week should have been a celebration after he beat Omos at WrestleMania. He gives it up to Omos because he is incredibly powerful. And last week, he felt that power again. Only this time, it comes after the one man in the world he thought he could trust turned on him. Lashley tells MVP to get out here and to give him an explanation. MVP doesn't answer the call, so Lashley threatens to destroy the VIP lounge. And then MVP and Omos come out to the ring, or come out to the stage. MVP tells Lashley to stop embarrassing himself, and if he touches anything, he'll get a bill from his lawyers. Lashley then says, listen, you can shove that bill up your ass until you come down here and explain yourself. MVP says, as much as he would love to do that, he's teaching Omos to be a businessman. He's learning to only fight when the time and the money is right. When the time and the money are right. In the meanwhile, Lashley should be thanking him. MVP says that Lashley deserves an explanation. When he comes back to WWE, Lashley was floundering. He was being led astray by some rat who wanted to be a social media star. That, my friends, was Leo Rush that he was speaking about. He couldn't even sniff the main event. And yet Lashley thinks that he doesn't need MVP. Doesn't want to share the spotlight. Well, don't forget who got you that spotlight in the first place and who made you the Almighty. Lashley says that MVP came back on his farewell tour, but he latched on to the next meal ticket. He rose the ranks and even beat Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship. And MVP says, yeah, but that's all because of him. That's all because of me. MVP then gets angry and steeds himself and says that that's all in the past. He's looking towards the future, and that is Omos. He's bigger, he's stronger, and he's a great replacement for the top of the mountain. MVP says that Lashley barely survived their first match and promises that he won't survive their next. Lashley then says that he could hide behind the Colossus for so long, but he is going to cut him down just like he did at WrestleMania, and that he is coming after MVP. Lashley then proceeds to destroy the VIP lounge, and MVP and Omos look on and laugh. We're getting into some logical shit again between Omos and Bobby Lashley. It makes completely no sense. Bobby Lashley does not even need to be involved with Omos or MVP anymore. The match didn't even need to happen at WrestleMania in the first place. You already had Omos lose. What are you going to do? You're going to have Omos pick up the win here at WrestleMania Backlash, and then what? You're going to have a third match? No. This is completely illogical bullshit. It should not be happening. It should not have even happened in the first place. MVP and Omos, while I see why they're doing it for him, because Omos needs a mouthpiece because of his broken English, fine. But Bobby Lashley does not need to be focused on this. If you want Bobby Lashley to be focused on something, focus him on the WWE, Bobby and Roman. I would. Would Bobby lose that match? Most likely, yes, because it's Roman Reigns. But I would like to see the match. I would like to see the match. They're completely illogical bullshit. I don't understand what they are doing with Bobby Lashley. I really don't. I just really don't know what they're doing, and this is a direct result from that. Bobby Lashley does not sound good on the mic. Period. If you guys don't agree with me on that, I'm sorry. And if you guys think I'm being a little bit too critical on Bobby Lashley, I'm sorry. But Bobby Lashley does not sound good on the mic whatsoever. Bobby Lashley sounds like a fucking teenager. Bobby Lashley sounds like a whiny fucking teenager that did not get what he wanted, that did not get what he wanted for Christmas, and now he is getting pissed off, and now he's going to have a match with Omos at WrestleMania Backlash for no reason whatsoever. Let Bobby Lashley do his talking in the ring, not on the microphone. Because as soon as he picks up that microphone, you're putting me to sleep, and you're just completely... You're not doing his strengths. You're promoting his weaknesses, and that is talking. He's not a good talker. He's never been a good talker. He has never been a good talker in his entire career, and you put a microphone in his hands when MVP was that mouthpiece. Again, I might be the only one that thinks that way, but he's just not a good talker. You're promoting his weaknesses more than his strengths. You have him do all the talking in the ring other than the microphone. We come back from commercial break. I'm not even going over the 24/7 title garbage. There was a double bachelorette party, whatever. We come back from commercial break, and Austin Theory is backstage with Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce. Says, guess what? He's now known as just Theory. He thinks that Austin is just too nice. He says that he's beaten Finn Balor twice and he wants a title shot. Pearson says, listen, you can have it. Kevin Owens then barges in and screams about Elias and Ezekiel, saying that he wants to do look at some sort of birth certificate or library card. Just completely nonsensical bullshit. Pearce says that, listen, all that stuff is confidential, and Owen shouts, his library card is confidential, which, exactly, that's not confidential. He says that he wants to put Ezekiel through a lie detector test, and DeVille says, listen, if this is what's going to make you shut up about it, fine, we'll do it. Owens then leaves, and Sonya says that Bianca Belair needs an opponent for her first title defense, and she picked who it was going to be. Pearce asked who it was going to be, but DeVille says, listen, I don't have time to explain. It's just going to be great. And then she walks off. Bianca Belair, speaking of, took on Queen Zelina Vega in a worthless match. Bianca Belair hit a fallaway slam, kips up, and beats Vega in the corner. Belair then lifts Zelina up in a military press and then does some squats before dropping her. Belair then hits the KOD for the 1-2-3. After the match, Sonya Deville then walks out with the contract, and we'll learn who Bianca Belair's first title defense is going up against after the commercial break. We come back and Sonya Deville says that Belair sustained an eye injury at WrestleMania, but clearly that has not halted her. She congratulates her on her incredible win at WrestleMania and gives the fans time to applaud. Deville then says that she took it upon herself to find opponents for Bianca Belair, and it wasn't easy because there are so many options. Belair says that she will be happy to fight anybody, and Deville says that it's great because she has an open contract, and if Belair wants to prove herself, all she has to do is sign. Deville then introduces her opponent, and with a drum roll, Sonya Deville attacks Bianca from behind. Deville then slams Bianca and says that her opponent is standing right over her because it's going to be Bianca versus Sonya for the title. Adam Pearce is pissed at this point. He came out, pretty much was like in disgust, saying, "What the hell are you doing? This is a complete abuse of power." And Deville does not care, and she holds the Raw Women's Championship above her head. We had another 24/7 title garbage. I'm not going to go over that because that's the 24/7 championship apparently is going to be defended at the wedding, a double wedding, as R-Truth is going to be initiating it. Who cares? Who cares? It's the 24/7 title garbage. Throw it in a dumpster, light it on fire. I'll piss on the ashes. We're good to go. Seriously. Deville is stopped by Pearce backstage. He says that Deville just did a massive abuse of power and asked who she thinks that she is. Deville doesn't that she didn't do anything wrong. She's just answering an open challenge and tells him not to be jealous. Jealous of what? The writing on this show is it's just complete garbage. And that's all. That's what I'm trying to say. It's complete garbage. Jealous of fucking what, Sonya? You haven't done shit in order to get a championship opportunity, and now you're getting it because it's the open contract, which I completely understand. I get what the fuck is going on here, but I just don't get this illogical garbage. We then had Alpha Academy come out, and Gable tells the fans to shush, please. He says that they all look and sound dumber than the last time that they were here in Detroit. He says that the Usos says they're coming to Raw to get the tag titles, but they won't let that happen. The only reason him and Otis aren't already the champions is because at WrestleMania there were too many distractions. Like this Ido Gable Stevenson. Like this idiot Gable Stevenson, my bad. Gable Stevenson. Gable says that who cares that he has a gold medal. He has a gold brain, and that's worth more. We had RK Bro take on Alpha Academy. And this was a pretty good match for what it was. It wasn't all that special, but it was a good match for what it was. It's RK Bro and the Alpha Academy. They're great. Randy tags in and lands a clothesline. Then he catches Gable with a snap powerbomb, a power slam, rather, and he is pumped up. I love the Randy Orton hot tags from RK Bro. I think it's great. Randy then gets Gable on the apron and drops him with that draping DDT, and Chad sells it like complete death. It was awesome. Orton then drops down for an RKO, but Otis grabs Gable and spins him around. But Otis grabs Gable and then Gable swings him around for a backslide for a near fall. Orton then pops up and hits an RKO, and Riddle prevents Otis back inside the ring. RK Bro pick up the victory over Alpha Academy. RK Bro are celebrating, and then we see two black SUVs appear. One of them, nobody came out of. But the second one, the Usos step out of it, and ask where RK Bro are. We come back from commercial break, and RK Bro are still in the ring, waiting for the Usos. The Usos make their entrance moments later. Orton then says that he was beginning to wonder if they were ever going to show up on Raw, and apparently the big dog let the bitches off their leash. And here they are. Jay says, wow, it's not like we haven't heard that before, but they are the longest reigning SmackDown Tag Team Champions ever, and now that they want the Raw Tag Team Championships. They want a unification match. Riddle asks if the unification match meant something like Thanos when he was trying to get all the Infinity Stones for the Gauntlet. And Jay says, yes, we already have the blue ones. We want the red ones now too. Orton then starts to question them, but out come the Street Profits. Dawkins says that he seems to remember challenging RK Bro to a one-on-one match before WrestleMania, but then Alpha Academy came on in to make it a triple threat. Last week, they beat the Alpha Academy, so surely they are the next ones in line. Yet here are the Usos, from their way of SmackDown, jumping the line. Jay says that there's no line when there is only the Bloodline, kind of like that, kind of gets their tag team name in there. Ford then says that they're going to be damn happy when they beat the Usos in order to get a tag title shot against RK Bro tonight, because they want the smoke. Orton tells them to shut up and say, if you want to fight, then just fight. How about it? RK Bro will be at ringside when the Usos take on the Street Profits. Winner gets us down the line. Fans go crazy for the match, as we are going to have the match when we come back from commercial break. And we did. We had the Street Profits take on the Usos. Now, I want to talk about that segment before we get into the match. The Street Profits don't deserve a tag team championship opportunity. They had their tag team championship opportunity at WrestleMania. They do not need a tag team championship opportunity. I love the Street Profits. I think they're great. But they have not done a single thing to warrant a tag team championship opportunity. Street Profits have not really done much of anything on WWE TV as of late. And to be completely honest, that's fine with me. We do not need Street Profits each and every single time in tag team championship opportunities. We do not. I'm tired of just them getting all the opportunities. We need new things. We need new opportunities. We need new tag teams to step up. We do not need the Street Profits 24/7. I'm glad that we got this match tonight, and I'm glad that we got this shit over with. Because now that the Street Profits fucking lost, they do not need to do anything for the next couple of weeks when it comes to tag team championship gold. Get them off, or change them up. Change them up, or get them off my TV. That's all I'm asking. But we had the Street Profits versus the Usos, and this was fucking fantastic. This was great. I freaking love this tag team match, and it was going to be great regardless because it's the Street Profits and the Usos. But when we had that unification match, it's going to be great because then I'll be fine with the Street Profits coming on in, because then we'd already have the merging of the divisions, and that's fine. But we come back from commercial break, and Dawkins is being controlled by Jimmy Uso. Dawkins connects a slam, and both men make tags. Ford then comes to the top rope for a huge crossbody on Jay, then drops Jimmy and sends Jay into the buckles. Ford then does a backflip, ducks a clothesline, and then hits a running blockbuster for a 2 count. Then Montez attempts to leap over Jay, but gets kicked in midair and then hits a pop-up neck breaker. Jimmy then tags in, and Dawkins distracts him, allowing Ford to roll him up for a near fall. Dawkins then gets in the tag, and the Profits hit a super blockbuster, and Angelo covers, but Jimmy breaks up the count for a very, very close two count, as Jimmy was just about to kick out. Jimmy then rolls from the ring, and Dawkins then hits a suicide dive, but Jimmy uppercuts him. Jimmy then lands a super kick and then tags in Jay. It was going to be an Uso splash, but Dawkins then gets the knees up. Ford then tags in and hits from the heavens. Absolutely beautiful frog splash each and every single time. And Jimmy breaks up that pinfall for a very, very close 2 count. Dawkins then is sent into the ring post and falls to the outside. Ford then kicks Jay, but Jimmy then blind tags in, and the Usos hit the 1D for the win, as the Usos move on, as they will most likely be facing RK Bro for the unified WWE Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania Backlash, which is absolutely great to see. After the match, RK Bro then get in the ring and hold their tag team championships up high, the Raw tag team championships up high, and Usos hold their SmackDown tag team championships up high as well. Usos leave the ring, but Dawkins runs in and tries to attack Riddle, but Riddle catches him in a triangle and they both fly over the ropes. Ford then comes on in to try to attack Randy, but he gets caught in an RKO. The Usos rush back into the ring and hit Orton with double super kicks, and then lifts both sets of tag team championships as they pose to end the show as the unified WWE Tag Team Champions. Jay holding the Raw and Jimmy holding the SmackDown Tag Team titles. And that was it, guys. That was your Monday Night Raw for tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed episode 165 of the podcast. If you did, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below, as we are on the road to 400 subscribers. We are severely close to 400 subscribers, and I could not be more proud of this channel and of this podcast and of the people that are a part of this podcast. It's been an absolute ride for Outside the Brand as of late. You know, WrestleMania was a non-stop week. We are just not stopping there. And we are going to be continuing Outside the Brand for the long haul. For as long as we continue to be friends on this podcast, we are going to be doing this for the long haul. I hope you guys what you guys heard tonight. If you guys did, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. Like the video, please. Let's get this video to 10 likes. I know with me just being here, it's not always the best. I understand that. We're trying to get just some kinks worked out when it comes to technology and stuff like that. But I hope you guys enjoy me and my opinions for the show for what they are. Even if we don't get that many live viewers on the podcast for this one. It's just me here. I hope you guys enjoy what you hear nonetheless. But then we are going to be going here live tomorrow for Tuesday's talk. I don't know what we're going to be talking about. I don't know if we're going to be having a guest, but if we do, we'll have one. And we will be talking all things news and pretty much just wrestling tomorrow on the podcast. So thank you guys so much. We're going to have Tuesday's talk, Wednesday's Dynamite from New Orleans, and then Friday Night SmackDown along with AEW Rampage. And that's your weekly schedule here on Outside the Brand. So enjoy the show, guys. We love you. Thank you so much. Like, comment, subscribe for more. And we will talk to you guys tomorrow on Outside the Brand, episode 166 for Tuesday's talk. Follow me on social media at PhillyMatt_. That's Twitter and Instagram and TikTok. All the TikTok links are down in the description below. Follow all the rest of them, like I said, down below there. And you guys can go get your merch at bonfire.com, the exclusive home of Outside the Brand and its merchandise. You guys are not going to want to miss that. Good night. Have a good rest of the night. And we'll talk to you guys very, very soon. Have a good night, guys. Peace out. We the ones. Put those ones up in the chat as we become the unified tag team champions here on YouTube. Thank you so much, guys. Talk to you guys soon. We the ones. Let's go.